So many of us were raised with our next guest on our TV screens. You know him from Mad About You, My Two Dads, Diner, Alien, and of course the Beverly Hills Cop movies.
Can't forget Stranger Things. What a performance. And he's actually doing a 4-show in 2 nights at the Tacoma Comedy Club this weekend. We are so excited to chat all about this with actor and comedian Paul Reiser. Hello.
Hello. How are you? Nice to be with you virtually.
Yeah, virtually is still good, and we are so happy to have you here. So some people might not know this, but once you launched your very successful movie and television career, you actually took a break from stand-up for about 2 decades. But was there a part of you that always knew you'd go back?
Yeah, I didn't mean to take a break that long. I kind of just forgot. You know, when I started 1,000 years ago, my only goal was to be a comedian. That's what I wanted to do. And then Diner happened and TV and all these things happened. And then when Mad About You started in the 90s, it was sort of labor intensive. So I got busy with that. And I didn't go out and do stand-up. And then when it was over, I kind of was happy to stay home and had a new kid and everything. And my goal was always to go back, but it took a while. So now it's really funny when I go out, and a lot of people say, oh, I didn't know the guy from Stranger Things does comedy. I went, I guess that's fair. I haven't been out for a while, but I love it. You know, to me, it's the most fun, to be honest. And people go, oh, Stranger Things must be fun. I went, it's fun, but not as much fun as live, you know, when you're in a live club, especially a club, even more than a theater. You know, so I'm excited to be coming this weekend. There's something really fun about clubs. They're just right there, and the audience, it's very interactive, and there's nothing like it.
Yeah, you were booked and busy. I mean, obviously love live too here on our show. What was like the #1 thing you would say you'd missed about doing stand-up?
You know, it's the immediacy. It's you don't have to wait. You say something and you get a laugh, or you don't. And as opposed to a movie or TV, you have an idea and you go, well, I have to spend a year writing it and 2 years raising the money and 3 years to get studio approval. You know, there's no middleman. And especially after going out after the beginning of COVID and the pandemic, when everybody was sort of separated, I find not only me, but the audiences too are still feeling the difference. It's like, oh, human interaction is really important, and seeing actual human beings, not just virtually. There's something unreplaceable about that.
Absolutely. And I love this story, actually. So after college, you told yourself that you would commit to trying stand-up full-time for a year. And I think that there's just so many people, you know, myself included, that'll dip out after a week or a month because you're just not seeing results. So talk to us about the importance of giving something a fair shot for a longer amount of time.
Well, you know what? I always tell, and I had to make this argument to my parents. The reality is, the goal to become a comedian is the worst career plan in the world. It's just like, well, why? I remember my father going, I love you, but why would you think you'd be successful at that? I don't know that. But, you know, I think, and this is true for all comedians, certainly the ones, you know, my buddies that we grew up in comedy together. If we could have done something else, we would have. You know, so even on a rough night, you have a night that doesn't go well, there's part of you that goes, okay, I can't wait to do this again tomorrow and make it better. So it just, you know, there was something that has, to this day, you know, 40 years in, just feels like, yeah, this is what I love doing. And it's just the most fun, and it keeps you sharp, keeps your brain sharp.
I imagine when those jokes hit, there's like no better feeling than that too.
Well, you know, yeah, it's funny. People say, well, what do you talk about? And I tell them the truth is, I'm not smart enough to make anything up. So I tell people, here's what happened in my house. This is the argument I got into with my wife. This is what my kid and I were scrabbling about. And the audiences are laughing because they're going, oh, this guy sounds like me. Okay, so we're all going through this stuff, and that's, again, it's the human connection. So there's just nothing like stand-up. There's nothing like getting out in front of real live people.
For sure. I mean, your breakout role, though, was in Diner, and I know you stumbled into that on accident. Tell us the story of how that all happened.
Yeah, I was a comic, and often I guess this is still true. People, when the casting will sometimes go into comedy clubs looking for people. So I wasn't even up for this, but a buddy of mine, another comedian, went in for an audition, and we happened to be going. We were having lunch that day. He said, "Just hang with me. I got to drop off a picture at this audition." And I waited for him out in the waiting room. And then the casting director came out and said, "Okay, you're next." I went, "No, no, no, no." And I really tried to bow out of it. I said, "No, I'm not here. I'm waiting for my friend." She said, "Well, come back tomorrow and meet the director." I went, "Okay." And that was Barry Levinson, who went on to become, Academy Award winning director. And that was his first directing movie. It was my first movie. 2 weeks later, I was in Baltimore making a movie with no idea what I was doing. So, there you go. I think the one thing we've learned is that all of us, we make plans, and that's not always the way it works.
Right.
The plans don't have anything to do with what actually happens.
So we want to share this story with you because you were actually at Fox 13 10 years ago. Our executive producer, Bhavisha Patel, was actually working here. She says you were just one of the kindest people, kindest celebrities. It says you love to interact with your fans. So tell us, why is that something that's so
that's
important?
Changed. Yeah, that's all over. Sorry you missed that one.
Are you just a jerk now?
Every chance I get, I just love people. And I like people, and it's funny. You always remember. I'm sure you've experienced this too. You remember people who are nice, and you certainly remember people who are not nice. Yeah. And it doesn't take much to make somebody really dislike you. Mm-hmm. And and I can remember the people who were kind to me, and so many people extended, celebrities or just people who were along your journey. You said, "Yeah, come on, let me help you. Let me, give you a piece of advice." So you try and always, there's no real downside to paying it back and paying it forward.
I like that philosophy. Hey, I have to ask you about this. You and your co-star Helen Hunt came back together in 2019 for a reboot, but I know you were not really thrilled about that idea at first. Tell us more about that.
No, we were, we had ended the show in 1999 before you were born, and we were thrilled. We loved the show. We were so proud of how we ended it, and we did everything we wanted to do. So we were always, we would joke about, like, can you imagine ever coming back for a reunion? Isn't that crazy? And so we never wanted to, but when all these other shows were coming back and we kept getting approached by studios, and we said, well, let's talk about it. And then we thought, well, we knew it would be fun to play together because we just really loved working together. And then we thought, it's been 20 years since we went off the air, and a lot happens in a marriage in 20 years. And we left, we had a baby, and that baby would now be going off to college. And we said, well, that's really fun, because now you're an empty nest again. It's just the two idiots in four walls. What is life? It'd be fun to see what has life done to these two, and you're not the same. You're tired. You've had a kid who's a bit of a handful. And so we thought, well, that'd be really fun to watch. And the great thing about coming back 20 years later, the scripts only have to be half as long, because every other line would be, what? And then you'd have to repeat because you're old. So that was easy.
Oh, I love that. And I have to tell you, the reason I was laughing is because I love how young you think we are, or I am, speaking for myself anyway. Thank you.
He's just being very nice. He's being a nice celebrity.
Very nice. All right, so let's take it back to your comedy here. So what would you say is the style of comedy that people can expect to see this weekend here in Tacoma?
Okay, so I've never figured out how to answer that question. The best I came up with, when somebody said, how would you describe your show? Here's what I came up with. I said, have you ever seen Cirque du Soleil? And I said, yes. I said, well, this is the opposite of that, okay? So if you're looking forward to jumping and flying through the air, you'll be disappointed. But you know what? You'll come and you'll have a good time. Here's what I will say. Come down to the club. 4 shows. You got 4 chances. 2 shows Friday, 2 shows Saturday. If you come down to the show and you're not completely satisfied and you don't have a great time, I will come back next year and take you to see somebody funnier. You can't beat that. Come on.
That's a guarantee.
It's a full,
all right. I love it.
Foolproof guarantee. It'll be great. And I'm looking forward. It's a great club and great people. So I'm looking forward to a fun weekend. And what are you doing? I don't know if you guys stay up that late. I mean, it's sometimes 7:30, 9:30 at night.
Can we come to the early show?
Yeah, the early show.
Come to the early show, yeah. Come to the early show. Come be my guest, and then you can laugh and run around the room and pretend it's a really big crowd.
Oh, I love it.
I'm sure it will be. Paul Reiser, thank you so much for chatting with us today. We'll catch up with you soon.
Nice to see you. All right, thank you.
Thank you. So you can, of course, catch Paul here at the Tacoma Comedy Club this Friday and Saturday, as he mentioned. 4 shows to choose from. We posted more information on our website, fox13seattle.com/studio13live.
I'm just still smiling so big
Oh,
after
he's so
talking
nice.
with him. He's the best.